recording this episode, a number of people reached out to us with personal stories and serious experiences relating to the issues we discussed, including instances of sexual harassment and other deeply sensitive matters. These messages have highlighted just how important and widespread these experiences are. Because of that, we'll be recording a follow-up episode to continue the conversation and give space to the voices that need to be heard. We're incredibly grateful to those who have come forward and trusted us with their stories. Please listen with care.
Hello, episode 10.
We're on double figures.
Great, we've
Finally
done well.
made it. This is it now.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
Wrap up.
Yeah.
No, this is the start, isn't it? This is the start of bigger and better things.
Yeah, I'm excited for this episode. I'm excited for the topic.
Yeah.
We've reached out to a couple of ladies in the industry and got their feedback as well. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about the challenges that women face within the industry.
Yeah.
Our experiences, what other people have said, and just having a chat about it and just build more awareness.
Yeah, it's less facts this week, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's also, just a side note, it's not a man-hating
No.
thing.
Just to highlight different experiences, but also, like you said, the challenges. It's not always easy.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it was initially a very male-dominated industry traditionally, and then obviously now there's more women coming in, and the times haven't quite kept up. So,
which is a shame. It is a shame because it's another thing that women have to think about on top of everything else. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Where do you want to start?
Well,
our experiences or other people's experiences first?
How in depth do you want to go about our experiences? I mean, I'm prepared to literally read out messages.
Okay, let's get juicy.
Not naming names.
No names.
If
just
someone reacts,
let's just spill the juicy.
If the shoe fits, so
juicy messages, and let's go for it.
So yeah, and then with other people, obviously for privacy reasons, I'm not going to get too specific. Do you want me to literally just go through the messages now?
Yeah, I do. I'm up for this. I'm loving this.
Okay, so have you ever had the comments from people that say about...
Is this on Instagram, though, first?
This is Instagram. I didn't go through LinkedIn. I did get the odd weirdo on LinkedIn, but it's quite rare. So it's Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
This is. And some of the messages they have no relation to property whatsoever. But to give you an example...
Yeah.
When I dyed my hair darker, got a few messages that it upset a couple of men.
Right.
I'd decide to change my hair colour.
Because they obviously know you, they've got a relationship with you, of course.
It physically offended them. They'd never met me, but it really, it touched their soul. It really did.
Okay.
So the story that I posted when I revealed the hair colour. Yeah. First reply, just, oh no, and then a load of sad faces. Next reply, I was going to jump off a bridge when I found out you were dyeing your hair.
Right. Okay, this is extreme.
I felt that was a lot. Obviously got blocked after that comment.
Wow.
Another one, I shared the new website for Amherst Lettings on my story, and the reply was, please change logo. That was it.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well,
that was.
We appreciate those comments. Obviously not.
Yep. Great chat. And then.
What? Let's just go back to the point. Somebody has seen a picture of you that you've changed your hair colour slightly darker.
Yeah. This is on the business account, by the way.
Business account. And this person is now saying to you, I'm going to go and throw myself off a bridge because you've changed your hair colour slightly darker.
Yeah. Because,
wow,
quote unquote, he only likes blondes. Bearing in mind, I don't know this person.
You've not ever spoken to this person?
I was polite. and responded
obviously.
to like 2 messages.
Yeah.
Then obviously got the hint that it wasn't in that my kind of tone that I would like, so made it clear that it was professional only. Clearly didn't read that message, I guess. I don't know, because it was just blatantly ignored. So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
so there's that. And then other messages have just been, again, talking to a business account.
Yeah.
And the only messages are, love your profile picture, and then replying to any story that has my face in it, what a beaut, with hearts. Again, I don't really understand. I was after investors, sir, but whatever floats your boat.
Didn't realise I was on an OnlyFans account here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I posted about me being on site, but fine. Oh yeah, there was an experience as well where I went to a viewing, met an estate agent.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
remember this?
Let's talk about this story.
Let's talk about
all
this.
the details. Let's go for it.
Let's talk about this. So yeah, went on a viewing.
Yeah.
Met this estate agent and thought, God, what a nice guy. He's so helpful. He met me and my mum. We went together. He seemed just enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then he added me on my Facebook, which I thought, fine, it's only professional, businessy things on there anyway. There's nothing really personal on there. Accepted it. And then he basically, what were his messages?
Oh,
Didn't
no.
screenshot them. There was lots of messages of asking what I was doing on Friday night. I obviously had really intense plans of doing nothing, but made up that I was busy because I thought it was getting a bit strange.
What's it to you what I'm doing on Friday night?
Well, yeah, I thought you were going to be sending me off-market deals, sir.
Ah, right.
That clearly not.
Keeping it professional.
That was the plan. That was my plan. This was not his plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, then he was saying about he split up with his ex and all of this, that, and the other. So I was like, cool. Sorry to hear that.
I love how we've gone on to this. You've gone to a viewing, and now all of a sudden he's added you, and he's telling you his life story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he was telling me how he's got a Chinese for one and a glass of wine. I said, oh, nice. And that was it. And he put, I've got another bottle if you want to come round tonight.
Bloody hell, how much does he drink?
Well, I don't know. Probably bought one just for that. So clearly got ignored and then blocked. So yeah, that was an estate agent as well. There have been other messages of just, inappropriate nature, but without reading every single one of them out. I didn't scroll that far back, to be fair, but that was a couple.
That's not nice, is it, when you're trying to do a business and all that somebody that seems to be interested in is something completely different?
I had it as well when I first started and I went to networking events. You know how you just don't get taken seriously?
Yeah.
And I'd be speaking to people there and I'd be talking about what I want to do and that kind of thing. And the response so commonly was just, oh, that's cute. Or just, oh, what's the word? When someone kind of puts you down or it's like, oh, that's cute.
Well, that's quite a belittling comment to say that.
Yeah.
And also that they seem to be acting more superior to what you are.
Yeah, patronising. That's the word I was thinking for.
Oh, patronising, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I got very used to that at the beginning as well. And I feel like there's less of it now. But at the beginning there definitely was. But yeah, what about you? What's been your experiences?
Well, my phone is actually recording us.
Of course.
So I can't read you the exact comments.
No.
But one that I can think about, which I have told you about, is somebody had commented on a post and we got into a good conversation about, adding value to a property, what you can do from a picture.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked, what sort of thing are you doing in property? And rather than it being a huge comment on my post, I just said, oh, just drop me a message, it'd be good to chat. So we have a chat, and then, oh, it's annoying, I can't show you. Then what happened, on the end of messages, I start getting a kiss.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about?
To just sneak it in there to see if it reciprocates.
No.
Also, like, you do this with Jack.
Yeah.
So
this is a joint account.
Jack's on the account.
He can see everything on this account, right?
Yeah.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So I get a kiss after messages. Then there was a comment about, I had a dream about you last night. That was it. It was like ... And I'm thinking,
oh no,
oh my God. So I'm literally like, well, that's really weird, because when somebody says that to you, it's not, especially a boy, guy.
Yeah.
That's just weird, isn't it, in itself? And then I think I responded going like, right, okay. And I said something like, oh yeah, was it about me being super duper successful property investor?
Yeah.
That's how I put it.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember, again, I really wish I could read it out. And it said something, he came back and said, oh no, it wasn't what you're thinking. Wink face. You would know about it if that was the case. I really want to read it, and it's so annoying. Anyway, you get the gist of it.
Yeah.
So that was interesting about being.
That's one word.
Just from a picture to then being in someone's dream.
Okay.
Don't know why it's relevant. Then the messages keep going, because I breeze this off, and yeah, there's then kisses that start to happen on these messages. Not appropriate at all.
No, I don't know where, like, you know, when you put yourself out there on social media on a professional account, that's exactly what it is. It's a professional account for a business.
Yeah.
You're just representing a business. That's all you're doing. Otherwise, you'd be on Bumble. But just saying, read the room.
Also, I'm doing a joint business with somebody I live with.
Yeah. You need to get him on the account more. Just jump scare him. Did Jack ever see these messages and question it and was like, what the hell?
Yeah, well then when I said, oh, have you seen the recent message? Apparently I'm in somebody's dream.
What did he say?
I can't remember what he said. I mean, I think it was something along the lines like, oh my God, this is so weird. Like, he just needs to F off.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame him, to be fair.
Do you know what I mean?
What else are you meant to say to that?
Like, it is weird.
What are you meant to reply to someone saying
But even
that?
if it wasn't a professional account, I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel comfortable.
No.
Because I'm genuinely want to build networking. I want to build a network. I want to build relationship with people in the industry. I don't want sexual relationships or sexual chats with men.
The thing is, as well, the majority of, obviously there's lots of men within the industry, and speak to loads of them who are very friendly, super helpful, and it's very obvious that there's going to be no boundaries crossed because there's mutual respect there, and you're both on the same page. You both know that it's, you know, for your businesses and it's purely professional relationship. Normal. The majority of men are very much like that, but there's just a few that seem, I don't know, I don't, it comes across as disrespectful.
I think it does as well,
because it's kind of almost completely ignoring the point of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And almost just bypassing that to get to what they ultimately see you as being.
Bear in mind, this person is in a relationship with a family.
Of course he is.
So, yeah, that's one I can think about off the top of my head.
Yeah, well, that would stand out, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Then when I opened up the floor to the rest of the ladies, so without being too specific with and not naming names, obviously respecting privacy and everything.
Okay.
There was a lot of trades being disrespectful to female developers. So making inappropriate advances and comments on site, saying that women don't belong on a building site. That was a very common one. Or constantly asking, where's the boss? Or can I speak to the boss?
So
another really common one.
I think also, just on that, so although it doesn't happen anymore, when I first started in my corporate job, which is construction industry, I very much felt like I had to go way above and beyond to prove my ability and what I could do to be kind of accepted into this male-dominated environment. So at first, you're kind of treated like you have no idea, you've got no experience, you've got no life skills, absolutely nothing, and they're way above you. Men.
Yeah.
I like men, by the way. I like men. So
well,
I'm not.
You do.
You know, I'm not being. What's the word?
Sexist.
Yeah, I'm not being that. I'm just saying my personal experiences on this pod, and yeah, so I had to kind of prove what I was able to do before I was kind of not invited into this kind of club or world, but because you're it was very much I was the only female. You feel very intimidated. You're made to feel very much on your own, but you're also judged. And it's kind of like you feel as if people are laughing at you because what do you know? You're just a young female. Like, what are you going to bring to the table? Well, let's just bring it forward a few years. People are asking me to do things because they can't trust those men.
Yeah.
Because they haven't been able to prove themselves. They can't do the job to the standard that I can do. So that was very much how it was a lot of the time early in my career, and also at the very beginning of my career, which is slightly different to property, but I used to work in the rail industry.
Okay.
Rail is heavily male, and this was rail construction, so big infrastructure projects, and literally I would walk onto a site, full PPE obviously. It was literally like men have never seen a female before. I'm not even joking. You walk onto the site and they're literally like this.
Like you're an endangered species, yeah.
Like, don't you have a wife? Don't you have a daughter? Like, you had a mum.
I don't know what it is. It's like you're out of your natural habitat. What are you doing? Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, now that I'm a lot more experienced and I'm in a more senior role and I work in a construction environment, that's not the case now, and I also tell people if something's inappropriate, I will call it out.
Do you?
Yeah, I call it out, and that's also what our company really does preach about. You call something out if it's disrespectful, because I'm not going to stand for it. I'm not going to have it. It's not fair. And I do sometimes think about younger females who are entering the industry now.
Landlords, are you tired of the stress that comes with managing your rental properties? At Amehurst Lettings, we make property investment as passive as possible. We're a family-run property management company built by property investors for property investors. With over 30 years of experience in the property industry, we know what it takes to keep your property performing at its best. We offer a fully hands-off service for landlords within Nottinghamshire, Leicestershire and Lincolnshire. Whether you own single lets or HMOs, we handle everything. Plus, we keep a close eye on the rental market to make sure your property income is staying competitive. So if you're looking for a team to manage your properties while you enjoy stress-free returns, get in touch today. Visit amehurstlettings.co.uk to find out more.
And I can see how it can be scary, it can be intimidating, and it shouldn't be like that.
Well, it's like I've had comments from the women that I've been speaking to for this episode, and so many of them have said that when they've had these comments, obviously they know they should say something and should stand up for themselves, but they're worried that they don't know how that person's going to respond. And obviously they want the quality of the work that they do to be good on their project.
Yeah.
And they're worried that they're going to sabotage it in, you know, as a retaliation to...
That's really rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah. And just as a common theme in the women that I've been speaking to, it tends to be the younger women that get the worst comments on site. I spoke to my mum as well, because obviously she's been in the construction industry for, I think, about 20 odd years. And she said, you know, she got similar things from trades at the beginning, but to be fair, now my parents are quite strict on only taking on trades that are super respectful, because obviously it looks bad on the business as well.
Yeah, absolutely it does.
But mum will still get comments from clients to say, obviously, because the construction side of things is my mum and my dad, it'll be, which they're both 50-50 on everything, both directors of the company, but if mum's talking, it'll be, well, where's the boss? Well, obviously wanting to speak to dad, even though dad might not know what the topic that mum's talking about, because they do different things within the business.
That's really interesting, because I've been to networking events. Again, me and Jack, 50-50 in the company. And we've introduced ourselves. That person will only look at Jack and talk to Jack.
Yeah.
I'm not included. I'm stood right there.
Yeah.
But I'm not included in those conversations.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not addressed to me. It's like they've got the eye contact.
Yeah, and you're just there as an accessory.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's horrible, really. It is horrible.
Yeah, I just think with, you know, in situations like that where, luckily I've never been in that situation where, because we only work with, you know, trades that we've got that experience with and we know and trust, I haven't had a negative experience with trades like that.
That's good.
But I could easily put myself in that other person's shoes, and I don't think I would say anything in that situation, because I would be concerned that they would do something to retaliate.
Yeah, I think...
You don't know.
No, certainly in the property world, for like yourself, as in, when I say yourself, I mean like us. When we're doing our own properties and we've got trades coming in to do those properties, I would find it more difficult to call it out. 100%. At work, corporate world,
there's a bit of a safety net there.
There is, yeah, because they are very much, there is no discrimination at work. Like, you treat everyone with respect.
But you've got a HR department there.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
You're supported. Whereas when you're, you know, self-employed and this project is your baby, essentially. It means so much to you to get this over the line, and
it's a lot harder, isn't it?
You don't want to risk anything.
No.
So you'll take being disrespected as long as that work is done to a good standard. But then I think there is a little bit of you that feels like you've almost disrespected yourself by not saying anything.
I know.
Which is horrible.
It is horrible, and it's a really difficult position to put yourself in, because you're thinking, well, if I say something, what's going to be the backlash of that?
Exactly. You don't know. Like, some people, their, you know, temper is out of control. But you don't know that person. You don't know how they're going to respond. And I think, just as a bit of a stereotype, on average, I think a lot of women expect men to be a bit more angry if they do stand up for themselves. I mean, if they feel the need that they can make a comment that's disrespectful, then who knows what they deem as being an appropriate response to you standing your ground. Yeah,
no, I do agree with that. And also, to be fair, I haven't had any experiences similar to you. I haven't had any experiences personally on personal projects, probably because a lot of the trades I've worked with for quite some time, and also I've known them through my family as well. So I've been lucky there. But going forward, who knows what's going to happen, especially when you start working in areas that are not super local to you know, where you're living, and you start expanding a little bit more, and it is a real shame that we're both thinking, well, if somebody said something that was inappropriate, we probably wouldn't call it out. That is really sad.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say in that situation?
Well, you say, get off my site, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this is the problem as well, because there's no trades around. You feel the need to keep them if they're good at the job, but they're just not great to women. Then you,
unless you, maybe, I don't know, in the heat of the moment, it's probably not the right time. But maybe you could, I don't know, this is just a thought. It might not be feasible, but pick it up the next day before work starts, or say, can I speak to you off site?
Yeah.
Don't know. Just
depend. I guess you can kind of
it's hard, isn't it?
How that person's feeling.
Does that person have a boss? Maybe they don't. Do you speak to them? Do they work with somebody? Do they work with somebody else who maybe you could speak to instead of that person? I don't know. It's really challenging to know what's right.
Yeah.
Well, we know what's right.
Well, yeah. But it's just an extra thing to have to navigate, isn't it?
Yeah, but why should we? Managing. And also, why are we having to do it?
I don't really know where it comes from. I get that there was that, you know, traditional stereotype of women being housewives and stuff, but a lot of the trades are not a lot older than us, so it's not like women haven't worked for a long time.
No.
So yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, but you know that you don't know if you've watched it. You know the new series on Netflix called Adolescence.
I have watched it. I cried.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's, I can't remember what the percentage is, but because it's all been quite heightened in the news, but a lot of young males still believe that women should be cooking and cleaning and in the kitchen.
Yeah, but isn't this from, and we're a bit hypocritical because this will be like a man-hating podcast now.
It's not.
Promise you it's not.
It's not. It's just, we're, you know.
90% of men.
Oh, great.
Amazing people.
Yeah.
Friends with most of them.
Yeah.
It's just, it's just some of you.
Because I'm not sure, you know, if we reached out to the men in property and said,
I've had men as well speak to me today that have said the same thing about, it's mainly from corporate, that they've seen other men treat women badly, and then when they've spoken to, good on them for, you know, saying that's wrong, you shouldn't disrespect women
that is great,
like that. And I think hats off to any men that
100%.
You could then cause a conflict with that person. So for you to stand up for another woman is also a difficult position to put yourself in. But so that's amazing. But yeah, he's witnessed other men treat women badly, belittle them, make comments like they should be in the kitchen, they shouldn't be at work. And it's 2025.
I know.
And it's still happening.
I know. And I was just going to say, I would be interested to ask the men that we know in the property world what have they ever felt uncomfortable and that's been done by a female. I would just like to know that.
Yeah. Well, if you have, let us know.
Yeah, I'm
in the
interested.
next episode, we'll talk about it, because, you know, fair's fair. This is just our experiences and other women that we've spoken to. But no, I did watch Adolescence and it made me cry.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah, it's raw because I feel like it's so current.
Absolutely.
And a bit of a tangent as well. Construction clothes. So I was speaking to, as some of you may know her, Lexi Carducci, who is obviously within the industry, a very glamorous lady within property. And wasn't satisfied with the fit of site clothing.
Yep.
Because obviously they're not made for women, they're made for men.
Yep.
And she made a good point. So she doesn't mind me being as transparent as possible.
Great.
And she's also offered a company as well that specifically makes workwear for
amazing.
women,
That's great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So she said, I've always struggled with site workwear for women. You know, I love a good outfit, but the options for wearing to site just weren't giving good vibes. I feel like no one will take you seriously if you turn up to a site meeting in oversized baggy clothes that are made for men. Once I got expanding foam on my hat and coat, absolutely livid, I resorted to buying a bright pink Pack-a-Mac, very Lexi, which I hung on the door on the entrance to the site, which suspiciously went missing. Anyway, last year I was invited to a Women in Construction Day called Empower Her. It was hosted by Footsure in their head office in Coventry and hosted by Sophie Lydia Perkins, who is a chartered surveyor at Atkins Realis and also the creator of the Sophie collection of women's workwear shoes for Ambler's safety. She has designed a range of professional, safe, but fashionable footwear for women in the construction industry. These include steel toe cap boots like the Mimi, Alice and Sarah styles, as well as a metal-free range and trainers, heels and wedge options for ladies on site too. Whilst we were at the head office, we also got to try on the women's safety wear from Dickies. So there's a couple of options there.
That's really good. Well, it'll be good. I'll link that in the description.
Yeah.
This episode for those. That's really good.
Yeah, because I think, to be fair, I suppose I've never really thought when she said obviously it doesn't look professional to wear. I mean, I wear quite oversized stuff day to day anyway because it's comfier. But if I'm going to a meeting, then obviously I don't wear oversized things. But if you're going to a site meeting and you're wearing men's clothing, essentially, it doesn't look professional. But then you haven't got another option. When you're on site, what are you meant to do?
Yeah. So true. Like the trousers, women naturally have curves.
Yeah,
they're low,
and then you can't tighten them around your waist.
And then they say they're women's sizes. They're not women's sizes
they're
at
just
all.
Bigger.
They're awful.
Yeah.
They're not very nice, and then they are very low. And then when you sit down, they're really tight in your thighs, and then they drop down at the back. They
drop down so that you've got that full moon.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It is really horrid. I don't like it at all.
No, well, they're uncomfortable as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll link it down below.
I think we should.
And then hopefully that helps people. I mean, I want to check it out anyway because she really sold it. She must be sponsored by them.
No, that's really, really useful. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure so many women struggle with that. When I mentioned it to my mum, straight away she was like, oh, I need this. Because obviously she's struggled for God knows how long.
Yeah. Also, gloves. You have to do a special order to get like women's sizes. A special order.
We're just a rare breed, clearly.
They're just smaller. Crikey.
It's not like we've got 3 fingers, is it?
No, madness.
And then the last point I had was that I think I've been told quite a few times by guys, not in a malicious or horrible way, but that they thought I'd do really well with investors because being female within the industry, that it's kind of, you'd stand out from other people. And then when I read out some of the messages to them, they obviously quickly realised that you might get more traction being a woman within the industry, but the problem is you get a lot of time wasters as well.
Oh yeah, you do.
So this is what I was saying about LinkedIn and Facebook, to be fair. Instagram I kind of expect it at this point. But you get a lot of people that pretend to have something to offer you, and it's almost they just want a conversation, and there's never really, you never really get anything from it. And obviously you're on LinkedIn to do business. You're not on LinkedIn to, you know, you're there to network and obviously help each other as well, but there's no value being given here. So, and you don't want to do business or invest or anything. So what's the point in this conversation? And I think as soon as someone comments about the way you look in a video, that you were actually hopefully giving someone value, and trying to share your experiences and lessons you've learned and help people. The only comment that can be made is about the way you look in the video. You just think, oh, great. Well, it's a bit deflating.
Very deflating, yeah. And
because it takes a long time to, come up with the content and plan it and obviously record it and everything, make sure it's helpful for people and that people actually want to see it as well. It's not an easy thing to do. So then when the only comment that can be made is quite empty, to be honest, it's just a bit meh, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But then when I think about this, all these people that are sending these comments and doing these things, I don't want to work with them.
No.
Like, they're out there and they're obviously doing business with people, but what are their morals? Like, they don't have clearly any respect.
You can't work with someone that isn't going to respect you, full stop.
No.
Even if they're going to be a hands-off investor, you're still going to have to deal with that person. So, and so I think it's just about knowing your values and knowing your boundaries, and if someone crosses that for whatever reason it might be, and it could be, it's not all men. There are women that also aren't very nice to other women within the industry. Luckily, I've not experienced that,
No.
but I know other women have had a bit of bitchiness and things like that within the industry.
Okay.
But I suppose maybe I just don't come across it as much because there's not as many women. I feel like when you see another woman at a networking event, you kind of cling to them a bit.
Yeah, you do. You gravitate that way.
Like, oh.
It's actually
you're
quite,
one of me.
Yeah, it's nice. It's actually nice because
I think it feels comfortable. It's quite intimidating I remember, to be fair, I think the worst networking events for being, my local one anyway, for being quite heavily male dominated is the PIN meetings.
Oh, actually, you say that. The last one that I went to, a young female came up to me and had a conversation, which is quite nice.
Oh, okay. How many women were there, would you say?
There was quite a few, actually.
Oh, good. Maybe it's improved, because I've not been in a while because I didn't feel that comfortable.
I say a lot, like 5 or 6. That's quite a lot for females.
The thing is as well, there's a lot of women in the industry, but I feel like we just don't go to that many networking events. Or if we do, it's maybe just not local to us.
Or it depends, I suppose, when you go to the networking events, because there's also that consideration of females may not go to an evening networking event.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're mums as well, you've got kids,
exactly,
you've got responsibilities.
Yeah. And going out on your own, especially in the wintertime, at night, in the dark, females don't necessarily want to do that. Whereas I have someone to go with, you have someone to go with.
Yeah.
So I can go in the evening. I feel comfortable to go in the evening. Yeah. Whereas females who are in the industry on their own or doing their business on their own, and they don't have a partner or somebody else to go with, they probably won't go to those evening events that we're going to.
Even, I mean, you say about going, obviously I go a lot of the time to these events with my mum, but we went to, funnily enough, a women in business networking event in Leicester.
Yeah.
And the car park was sort of in the centre, and we had to kind of walk out a little bit to get there because they didn't have parking there. And as we were walking, Mum made several comments about how she didn't feel comfortable walking.
That's
at
so
night
interesting.
Through the city, and I guess I also don't feel comfortable, but because I was with, I suppose it's that relationship as well. She's my mum, so you naturally feel safe with a parent.
But still, you're two females.
Yeah, but then obviously, and I suppose you don't really think about it with your parents, do you? That they'd ever feel, because you're like, well, you're a parent, you're kind of protective.
Yeah.
I'm safe. But then when she said, oh, I don't feel safe in walking down here or in this situation, I was like, wow.
That's interesting, because we went to a networking event in Lincoln, and it was in a hotel, but the hotel didn't have parking, so very similar to yours, you have to park in like a multi-storey.
Yeah.
And I think me and Jack, we'd gone together and we'd parked, I don't know, third floor or whatever, and walked down, and then on the way back, it wasn't the best kept car park, but it had a staircase which was down a narrow street, and then you turn right and you go up this steps, and then you walk into the level that you parked on. And he actually said to me, "You wouldn't walk down here on your own, would you?" I was like, "No, absolutely not. No way."
As soon as you said narrow, I thought,
Narrow.
absolutely not. That word was enough for me.
I would, if anything, this is probably just because how I am. If I'd had to have gone on my own, I would have been like always looking over my shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
But I'd probably be running, right? And I would run to the car park. I wouldn't use the stairs. I would use the internal ramps in the car park.
Yeah, because it's open.
Yeah. And there's lights, and hopefully there's CCTV in there. Another thing that females have to always be thinking about.
Yeah, so true. The logistics of actually going to a networking event. Because every single time I go, I think, God, I speak to so many women online in the industry, and then I go to a physical event, and where are they?
Yeah.
But,
well, yeah, they could not just be going, but obviously family commitments as well.
Yeah.
Young children probably going to bed. So I guess there is that kind of consideration, but I wouldn't feel comfortable going on my own.
It'll be interesting, actually. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to Hard Hat to Heels, their networking event, which is all women.
Yeah.
Which was funny, actually. I mentioned this to my mentor, and obviously he doesn't understand that why women would set up a networking event that's all women. So he was like, God, can you imagine if men did that? Like how sexist we'd be called. And I was like, I know, but you've got to think the average networking event, it is mainly men, stereotypically.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's getting better, but it's still a lot of, male attendance, which is absolutely fine. But if you are going there on your own as a woman, it can be quite intimidating to walk in there and think, okay,
got to put myself out there and talk to people now.
Yeah, and you do almost feel like you've got to prove yourself more.
Yeah, you do.
And if you're new, that's really hard.
Yeah. And I don't know, are men just going to walk up to you when they're talking to another man?
I don't know.
I haven't been in that situation where they have.
Normally, to be fair, when I walk in, I just normally invite myself into a conversation.
Yeah, you can go and just stand there awkwardly and be like...
Yeah. Otherwise, you are just stood there for ages.
Yeah.
Like a bit of a lemon. But so you've just got to throw yourself straight in someone's conversation and not feel weird.
Yeah.
I still feel a bit weird, but
you still do.
Eventually they make eye contact.
And you might be able to go, yeah.
Pretend you know what they're talking about because you missed the first 10 minutes of the conversation. Or just laugh when they laugh and just, pick it up. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that event's like. I'm looking forward to meeting everyone there, and age ranges are all different as well, so that'll be good. So yeah, fingers crossed.
That'll be good, yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, so that was our little, again, to all the men that are really respectful, appreciate you all.
Yeah, we absolutely do.
And it is the majority of you. Unfortunately, it's just some.
It's just a shame, obviously, that we're having to think about this on top of everything else, or having to deal with it. But I suppose you don't really think about it much because it's just something you always have to deal with. It's just there.
Yeah, I think, well, a bit like when there was that comment, like I said, about, if men set up an all men's networking event, we'd be called sexist. I think there are all men networking events as well. They do exist. It's not like it's just us that have invented this thing. And I think, to be honest, that's fair enough to have, because we each go through different challenges. That's not, we're not saying that men don't go through their own challenges.
Absolutely.
And sure, toxic masculinity and everything like that, like we were saying about adolescence.
Yeah.
It's huge right now.
Yep.
So there's even more issues and challenges that men also face that women don't understand, but unfortunately a lot of the time we are kind of treated poorly as a byproduct of that. And so I don't think it's a bad thing to have these separate networking events, because it means you can have a more open conversation with people that are going to understand what you're talking about, and hopefully can you know, resonate and give you advice potentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's nice to have a networking event, like I say, where you've got different generations there and different experiences. And like I say, I didn't even consider that mum would feel uncomfortable walking down the street.
Yeah.
Because I thought, well, it's younger women that are scared in those situations, but it's all women.
Absolutely it is.
So, yeah. But that's all I have to say on it, really.
That was a nice little ep.
Yeah, it was something different, a bit chatty.
Yeah, well...
Some juicy content as well. It's not like us.
I bet there's more on my phone, but it's over there and it's annoying. Never mind. Next episode. I'll save it up. But it's really nice that we've had people send in a few of their stories, so that's really appreciated. And yeah, I suppose we just all need to make sure that we're supporting one another and looking out for each other and all these people, or not all these people, but these few
just disrespectful people
who are not bringing any benefit to us, that just need to get back in the box.
Yeah, just mind your business. If you've
nothing nice to say, then don't.
Yeah, if you've got a bad thought in your brain about someone, you really don't need to spend your energy typing it out in a message and sending it to them.
No.
Just saying, you're wasting your own time, even if you don't respect theirs. Just saying.
Yeah. I swear there was another story that you told me.
Oh, I've forgotten one. About what?
Because there was a few at the very beginning.
I can imagine there probably was, and I've just blanked it out.
Yeah, but you had quite a few, I remember. Like, each week you'd have something for me, and I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose now we're just kind of...
They all just kind of blur into one. I think you get very used to filtering them out.
Yeah.
So...
Okay, another one block.
Yeah, exactly.
Another one block.
Because you just... I suppose when you're trying to be so efficient with your time, and obviously you're talking to people to try and sort of generate business and network and things like that, but obviously you get the odd one that's just clearly a waste of time. So you just get really quick at, you know, if you do see a kiss or something like that, I won't reply, because I just think, no. And obviously women, that's fine, I don't care about that, but yeah, if it's, and sorry if that comes across as being sexist, like, just saying, it's not
the same.
No, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
So yeah. So
well,
maybe I've just blanked it out.
maybe. Well, we'll leave it on that, shan't we?
Yeah, we'll leave it on that. But if you've got your own experiences or anything,
don't feel like you're on your own with these experiences.
Yeah, chat in the comments and talk about them and support each other and help each other, because we all go through our own shit, don't we? And
absolutely,
no one's alone in that. So yeah,
lovely. All right, well, that's episode 10.
I know, I've enjoyed this episode.
I have too. It's been really nice.
Yeah,
but we are taking a little break for a couple of weeks, aren't we?
We are, yeah. We're going to review everything, have a little brainstorm, and hopefully freshen everything up a bit.
Yep.
And bring some different content.
We might even bring some guests.
Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, so you got to tune in.
Let us know who you'd want to see as well.
Yeah.
If we, asking for a friend. If we did do guests, yeah, who you'd want to see.
Fab. Yeah, well, we'll be back in a few weeks' time with
new and improved,
and there will be some exciting things coming. But thank you to everyone who's listened to our first 10 episodes and engaged with us. We would still really appreciate it if you could like and follow and subscribe and comment on all of our platforms. That would be much appreciated.
Yeah, thanks.
Good. Okay, well, we will see you very soon.